In language arts, you've already learned about writing an introductory paragraph. Our goal today is to transfer that knowledge of how to write an introductory paragraph to a different context. You've learned about how an introductory paragraph should start big, with the background information that your reader needs in order to understand your body paragraphs. For example, here's the visual Ms. Renicky gave you. In this case, for a performance task essay, your goal is to make a quick outline and then get started writing. You won't have time to draft your body paragraphs first, but you will have a good sense from your outline of what they'll be about. For example, my outline shows, my claim for this essay is, in ancient Kush, people's lives were very different depending on their social class and gender. This is the claim that I've created after analyzing the sources we've been studying. I have 3 buckets, and all 3 of these buckets support my claim. Bucket 1, or point 1, is upper class people in Kush enjoyed wealthy lifestyles. I've found some supporting evidence for that. Bucket 2, my second body paragraph, is going to be about how, despite gender roles, some women became powerful queens. And my third bucket will be focused on how lower class people did not have easy lives. Remember, no matter what sources you're analyzing, we need to use the skills of analysis that we've been practicing to gather or pull out evidence that really supports our topic. This is very different from simply writing about your opinion. I know many of you are still working on outlining using evidence from ancient Kush, so I'm not showing you my completed outline, but here is the evidence that I've chosen for my first bucket. So I found this supporting evidence from source 1. I'm listing this as my reference. A painting from the tomb of Hoi shows royal or upper class traders who are wearing gold jewelry. They seem to be bringing gold rings and leopard skins to give away as gifts, which means they have plenty to share. This is my inference that I'm adding at the bottom. This is a second piece of evidence I've chosen. At ports, this is a quote, "At ports on the Red Sea, merchants traded Kush's goods for luxury items like silk and glass." This is a quote from source 5, which is the map showing some of the trade routes from ancient Kush to Egypt and other lands. And here's my analysis. This shows that the upper class people had access to valuable resources. So right here, I've practically written my first body paragraph. I have a topic sentence, I have evidence, and I have already listed some of my analysis, as well as this source. This will be very easy for me to turn into a body paragraph. We're practicing with an example showing the ancient Kush sources because most of these sources are familiar to you. We've spent about a week analyzing these sources. But you are an expert historian, and you'll be writing an essay tomorrow that will be very similar to this, but you'll be writing about our civilization today. So you're taking your knowledge and applying it to a different context. Tomorrow, as you start writing, your first task will be to choose a claim. Remember that you need to be able to find specific textual or visual evidence that can support this claim. Here are the 2 claims you'll have to choose from. Your thesis statement could be, social structures make life fair for people in society today, or social structures make life unfair for people in society today. In a performance task, it's really important to write a strong introductory paragraph so that your reader can get a sense of your claim and argument. This is especially important because you may run out of time. You may not be able to use all the evidence or write in as much detail as you would like in your body paragraphs. This is not meant to be a polished research essay. This is basically a strong first draft and needs to be clear and easy to read. So going through the components or the steps to writing an introductory paragraph, we need to start, just like with your climate essay, we're starting with the big picture. In 2 to 4 sentences, discuss the topic you're talking about on a global level. Here our topic is, what are social structures and how do they affect people's lives? So we'll think, what are some comparisons that you could make between different time periods, for example, between ancient civilizations and today, or what are some comparisons that you could make between different places? The next part is the transition part. You need to transition by zooming in on a specific civilization, for example, ancient Kush, or a specific issue your essay will focus on. For example, this could be gender roles, environmental inequality, or racism in schools. These are some of the topics or some of the source material that you will have to choose from tomorrow. But remember your bucketing process. Your third step is the controlling idea or thesis statement. And all three of the buckets you choose need to fit under this one idea. This is the central idea or claim of your essay. For example, my controlling idea or claim is, in ancient Kush, people's lives were very different depending on their social class and gender. Now that we've reviewed these parts, here's the paragraph that I have written. This is your example to think about so that you're ready to start with your introductory paragraph tomorrow. My first step is my big picture introduction. Have you ever felt that life is unfair because of race, gender, or poverty? These are some of the social structures or categories that shape our lives today. But why are people expected to have different roles in society? And why are we treated differently? It all started around 5,000 years ago when people began to settle down in cities. Farmers needed a place to keep their food surplus safe, and this led to the creation of jobs such as merchants, soldiers, and officials. Society began to place a different value on each of these social roles, and women became less valued. Here's my transition. One of those ancient civilizations was Kush, also known as Nubia. It is located along the Nile River south of Egypt in the present-day country of Sudan. We can learn about people's lives in ancient Kush by studying primary sources such as tomb paintings and sculptures. Here's where I've narrowed my topic. Finally, my controlling idea. In ancient Kush, people's lives were very different depending on their social class and gender. So we're going to pause here. In closing, we reviewed how to move from bucketing your topics or outlining to writing an introductory paragraph. This is called a performance task because you don't have as much time as you would on a research essay. So you need to take your skills of sourcing, of finding good evidence, and apply them quickly to writing, starting with an introductory paragraph.